What day is it? Butter Chicken Day. Alright. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I worked in a restaurant that had an amazing butter chicken, but I never got the chance to learn how to make the sauce while I worked there. It took me a few different tries and a lot of different recipes, but I eventually figured it out, and that's this butter chicken. And now I'm going to share that butter chicken with you. Alright, the first step we're going to do is marinating our chicken. You need half a cup of plain yogurt, 2 teaspoons of Garam Masala, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne, 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt, 1.5 tablespoons of garlic minced, and 1 tablespoon of ginger minced. While you're mincing ginger and garlic, you can do an extra 1.5 tablespoons of each for the other part of the recipe if you want to be a super efficient good boy. You can really control the heat of this dish with the ratio of paprika to cayenne pepper. So if you have 1 teaspoon total, you can essentially go as much of it as you want cayenne and then the rest paprika. I go 1/8 of a teaspoon cayenne and the rest paprika because that's about like a medium sort of heat level. And you can leave it out all together if you want it really mild. If you did the whole teaspoon all cayenne, it would be like full blast burning ring of fire the next day hot. All right, for chicken, we're gonna do 800 grams of chicken breast, which is about 4 large breasts. You can use thighs for this as well, and usually I would tend towards that, but for some reason, this dish just I find works better with chicken breast. So once you have your 800 grams, you wanna basically cut that up into bite-sized pieces. Once you have your chicken all cut and ready to go, you wanna mix it with the yogurt marinade and make sure that your chicken is fully coated. No naked chickie, no indecent chicken exposure here. Next, wrap it up in a smaller bowl than you mixed it in, unless you have a giant refrigerator. And then I like to make sure 1 piece of plastic wrap is touching the chicken so it doesn't get crusty, and then a second one on top just to seal it in. For this, I recommend marinating it overnight, but at least an hour minimum. Okay, are you ready? We're doing another spice mix. For this one, it's gonna be half a teaspoon of true cinnamon. If it's not the true stuff, do better. And then half a teaspoon of cardamom, 1.5 teaspoons of cumin, 1.5 teaspoons of garam masala, 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt, 1 teaspoon of coriander, and another teaspoon of mostly paprika and 1/8 teaspoon of cayenne. Next, dice up 1 large onion and get your garlic and ginger that you prepared yesterday, and don't forget to thank past you for being an efficient person. And if you didn't, then you need 1.5 tablespoons each of garlic and ginger minced. Next up, heat a large, heavy bottom pot on medium-high heat until it's ripping hot. I'm just using oil here, a couple tablespoons, but if you want to be more authentic, you can use ghee, which is butter that's been clarified, meaning all the milk solids and stuff that can burn is removed. So it's just the fat, and you can use it at a much higher heat than the whole butter. Next up, add your chicken to the pot. I recommend doing it in 2 batches because, as you can see here, chicken was too crowded in the pan and it actually didn't brown nearly as much as it should have. What you want is like a deep golden brown and kind of crusty, but not burnt. The chicken also doesn't have to be cooked through at this point because you're going to be putting it back in the sauce later, so you're literally only paying attention to the way it looks on the outside. Next, set your chicken aside, and in the same pan, add your chopped onion and saute for 5 minutes until it's soft. Then you're going to add all your spices to the pan and begin toasting them for 2 to 3 minutes. You want them to become fragrant and kind of wake them up and get a little bit roasty, but not too far because you don't want burnt spices. Then we're going to add our ginger and garlic and continue to cook for 1 minute just until they're fragrant. And then we're going to add our liquid. So we're going to start off with a 14-ounce can of coconut milk. You want to use the coconut milk with a pretty high fat content for this sauce. And then you're going to bring that to a boil and start reducing it. Coconut milk is kind of interesting. It sort of caramelizes a bit, so you can cook that on pretty high heat for a little while. And then you're going to add 14-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. Lower the heat to medium-low and keep stirring every couple minutes so it doesn't burn to the bottom while you reduce the sauce. It's going to go for about 20 minutes at a simmer. You want it to thicken up a fair amount, and it's going to go from sort of a red color like tomatoes to a really deep orange, sort of authentic butter chicken color. Once your sauce is the right consistency and color, you're going to blend it smooth. You can do this in a blender or like I did here, you can do it with an immersion blender right in the pot. Last thing we're going to add right before we're finished is 1 tablespoon of sugar, 2 teaspoons of Fenugreek Leaves, 1.5 teaspoons of fish sauce, and 1 teaspoon of fresh squeezed lime juice. These ingredients go in right at the end because they don't really benefit from cooking or anything like that, and they're much better when they're fresh. So we add them right in at the end along with the chicken, which is mostly cooked through, and so after a minute in the sauce, there's no worry about it being undercooked. Toss your chicken back in, mix it up, kill the heat, and you're ready to serve. I like to put this on some nice jasmine rice with a little bit of chiffonade cilantro for garnish, and you're done. You can also serve it with naan bread if you want to, and that's a great option as well. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. And now for some sexy butter chicky shots.